Welcome, this is the Web Component Development 2 video series. In this video, I'm going to talk about JSP standard actions. So let's move on with the video. So first I'm going to talk about the JSP action. So JSP action use the construct in the XML syntax and to control the behavior of the servlet engine. So we can use dynamically insert a file, reuse Java Beans component, forward the user to another page, or generate HTML for Java plugin. So through JSP actions like include and forward, unlike directive actions, are re-evaluated each time the page is accessed. And also the JSP action tags provide some functionalities like insertion of a file, dynamic insertion of a file, or controlling behavior of the servlet engines, or forwarding a user to another page, controlling flow between pages. Likewise, we can use these JSP action tags to use many of those kind of functionalities inside of the web application. So now we can go to the syntax of these action tags. Usually there is only one syntax for those all kind of syntax, all kind of JSP action tags. That is the simple XML type of syntax by putting the less than and the greater than signs in the start and the end, and putting the JSP and colon. Then we have to put the action name. Then we have to set the attributes that each kind of action name supports. That is the main syntax for each action tag. So let's move on to the some kind of standard action tags available in JSPs. So these are the main available action tags, different kind of actions. First we have the forward action. So basically the forward action is doing the forwarding the request and the response to another resource, some kind of a JSP file or another HTML page or some kind of another source. And include beans, it is include another resource directly to the current JSP. And use bean, it creates and locates a bean object, creates or locates a bean object within the application. And the set property, you can set values of the property in a bean object. We can set the values to the bean object, and get property as well as the set property. We can get the values that we have already set in the Java bean using this get property action. And we can use the plugin. We can embed another component such as a applet or something into our JSP or the place that we need to insert, and the JSP param, and it sets the parameter values, and it is used to forward and include mostly in the web application. And fallback, we can use to print a message if plugin is working. It is used in JSP plugin as well. And that is the most actions tags that we have in the JSP. So now we can see some of the tags in coding. So I'm going to show you in the action tags in NetBeans the coding as examples. I'm going to show the examples of those kind of action tags in real life. So let's move on to that part. So I have already created a project in the NetBeans IDE. So I'm going to show you some of the action tags in the real life codings. So first I'm going to show you the include action. So include action includes any kind of another resource into our current place. So I'm going to create I'm going to include some kind of resource into this index.jsp page. I'm going to create another JSP page with some kind of an action that we can put into this index page. I'm going to take as time or date. So I'm going to create an JSP page called date. So after that I'm going to just add I'm going to add a paragraph for h1 in here, h1, and I'm going to put an yell and create a new. I'm going to print the current time. So I'm going to add it and print it directly. So if I now send a request directly to this page, if I'm going to deploy the page first, so now it have deployed. I'm going to get the I'm going to run the page in the browser. Now I have run the page in the browser, run the application in the browser. So I'm going to call our page date.jsp that we need to see what is going to happen in that page. If I send that request to that one, it will give an current time and the date and all details. So I'm going to include that into our main index page. So I'm going to go to the index, and now I'm going to put it inside of this h1 and put an JSP attribute. So JSP include page. We have to give the page URL, which is the date.jsp, and so that is the thing that I need to do. If I click and include, and I'm going to set another one because we can identify whether it is going to change the page or not. I'm going to put another paragraph in here, and put some kind of text in here. This is the original page. So if I put this one, it should be showing these both of the text, otherwise it will go to this date.jsp. So in this include tag, it should be taking the date.jsp and including here, so there will be no redirecting to the date.jsp page. So it should print both of these texts. Let's see what's happened when we send a request to the our index page. We have to send a request now to the index page. So now it gives an error because I have typed it wrong. Date, not date, it should be date. So if I send a request now, it should be fine. You can see it took the data from that date.jsp and put it inside of our index page. So that is why the both of the text are available. So if I set the forward action forward, now it should be different, because if I send a request now, it should be directly going to the date.jsp, but without changing the URL. We can see URL didn't change, but it directly put the request and the response into the date.jsp file. That is the main difference inside of the forward and the include. And next we have I'm going to talk about use bean. We can use some kind of a bean object, use bean. So in order to use the use bean, we have to create an bean object inside of our source. I'm going to create an bean by creating a class called capital A. I'm going to create it as an package dot bean. I'm going to give an package name as well. So I'm going to give some kind of data like random things, age or something like that, age, color, or I think likewise. So I'm going to create the bean object by encapsulating. So encapsulate as well as the constructor. Have to create the constructor as well. So now we can access the bean through the JSP by JSP attribute should be use bean. We have to give an ID for the bean object that we are creating. I'm going to give an just an test as the ID. Then I'm going to give an class is we have to give the class with the full package name. So we have to give com.my package name bean A. So this is my bean. So if it is not that is not enough to just create and access the bean, we have to use the set property as well as the get property in order to get the most use of this JSP beans. So likewise we can use JSP attribute should be set property. We can set some properties into the set property, and the name should be test, and property should be, we can choose any kind of an property that we can add. We have age, color, name that we have given already. I'm going to put the name, and I'm going to set the value. Value should be like strings. All our strings, we have to give strings. Set property should be likewise. Then we can access the property as well using JSP get property. Get property should be the similar. We can access the property. Likewise, the name should be the ID of the Java bean. The property should be the property that we need to access. We can access the name. that we have given already. So that is for the accessing part. Now we can see what is going to happen if I run this in the browser. So in order to use the JSP Java Bean, we have to put the empty construct as well, otherwise it will give an error. So we have to put the empty construct as well in the Java in the Bean object. And so likewise we can set the name, any kind of parameter that we want, like then we can again put name and we can put age. We can access all the things like and age, name, color, and we can access the get property like name, age and color, both of all the things age. So we can just use the simple single tag as well. So that is not a necessary thing, but it is important to know. So and when I refresh this, it should be given me all the values that I have already set in here, and we can put those things inside of an kind of an h1 tag, all the things inside of h1 tag. So now it should be shown very clearly, you can see. So likewise we can use this set property or the use bean object, use bean use bean action as well as set property get property to set properties, set some kind of values in the Java Bean and access those. Likewise we have another few methods as well. Those are, we can use those kind of methods at the place that we have to use those things. Because of these things it is very important, and we can use these to simplify our code inside of the web application. Otherwise we can do the same thing with many of the coding. So like if we need to do the same thing, we have to mention the script tag, and then after that we have to get the property like a.con.bean.a. so we have to first create an bean object. So likewise we have to first create an object, then a.set to any kind of, we have to set age, like same things, but we have to do quite a bit of work to achieve the same thing. Again set color should black, and not be name, set name should be set name. And again likewise we have to access those things by putting an out.print or something that we need to print. So those are we can write it in one code, but if we do not use the JSP action tags, we have to do quite a bit of get age, get name, get color. Those are the things. This will give the same output as the JSP action tags, but with a lot of effort. You can see this also gives the same thing, but with another big effort. We have to use quite a bit of coding to access the same thing using the normal Java coding. That's why those kind of XML tags are introduced to the JSP or the enterprise edition of the Java. So that way it makes life much more easier for work with the JSP files. And I think that is it for this video. Thank you for watching.